Teach us to number our days. That's a prayer of Moses over 3,000 years ago. Moses wrote Psalm 90 while he was leading the Israelites through the wilderness for over 40 years. And his heart was he wanted those people that he was leading to learn how to live wisely. This video will begin to study Psalm 90 so that we also learn how to live wisely in this day and age. This is Jackie Anderson. I'm a missionary in Ethiopia, and I am doing these YouTube videos called RX Prescription for Joy. I want to encourage you in your walk with the Lord. Psalm 90, verse 12. Teach us to number our days that we may present to you a heart of wisdom. This is a wonderful prayer for beginning of 2021. Most of us are short-sighted. We live as if this world was the only one to invest in. But Moses says we need to learn to number our days. We need to have God's perspective on life. It's something that he can teach us. Short-sightedness is not a new problem. Over 2,000 years ago, the Greek philosopher Seneca wrote this, and this is my paraphrase. The majority of mortals complain bitterly because we are born for just a brief span of life, because this life rushes by so speedily that at the end we are just getting ready to live. The problem is not the length of life, but that we waste much of it. You squander time as if you drew from a full and abundant supply. After having COVID this last month, I felt like I squandered so much time laying in bed and going back to sleep and just having no energy. It was so frustrating. I have lots of books about being efficient, having a good schedule, making lists of getting things done. We probably all have things like that. And yet all of a sudden we feel like, well, where did that time go? Moses is saying that God will teach us this new perspective on life. He will teach us how to number our days. So how does God teach us? Well, I think he gives us new lenses to view life through. It's like he puts on these glasses and we see things in a different way. Moses uses all kinds of very visual illustrations to bring the point home to us. He starts in verse 2 by first describing how eternal God is, and that God is everlasting even before the giving birth to the earth. In contrast, he compares us to dust. He says, we are like grass that is renewed in the morning. In the morning it flourishes and is renewed. In the evening it fades and withers. In verse 10, he says, the years of our life are 70, or even by strength 80. They are soon gone and we fly away. Well, fast forward to 2021, and we find out that life expectancy in the United States is 78.93. Pretty close to what the Bible is saying here. Do you remember the video Up? There's a scene there where Ellie is changing the ties of Carl, and the ties flash by as the years flash by until Carl is just this withered old man. It makes me cry every time I see it. I heard a pastor once early in my Christian life that said, look at life as this very short little snippet in light of the long, long eternity. What will last through eternity? Two things, people and the Word of God. So even now, in this little snippet of life, invest in the things that last for eternity. 2 Corinthians 4:18 says it for us. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what we have seen is temporary and what is unseen is eternal. The things we're seeing right now in this world are temporary, but the unseen, the important things, that's where we need to fix our eyes. Moses was saying his people had not learned that lesson. In fact, God was not really pleased with the Israelites, the majority of them. In 1 Corinthians 10, it says, God was not pleased with most of the Israelites in the desert. Why? Because they craved idols. They grumbled. They looked back. They were impatient because of the journey. Isn't that the way we are at times? We're grumbling about this world, or we're looking back into what we might have had or what we want. We are just not looking at life with wisdom. It's no wonder that Moses was praying, God, teach my people to have hearts of wisdom. Teach them to number their days, to look at life right now. Majority of them were not even going to make it out of that wilderness. Majority of them had already so disobeyed that God was not going to allow them into the promised land. I don't want to be like that. So fast forward to today and the advice that God gives us even in the New Testament. Here's from 2 Peter. Today as Christians, we are looking forward to a new heaven and a new earth, the home of righteousness. So then, dear friends, since you are looking forward to this, make every effort to be found spotless, blameless, and at peace with Him. How about you? Are you looking forward to the new heavens and the new earth? Is that the driving part of your life? Then it will make a difference in how you live. I'm so excited about next week's devotional as we look at Moses' life and how did he learn this perspective? What choices did he make? There's so much to learn from this amazing man's life. Join me next week. But for this week, read Psalm 90. Really stop and think about the context. Look at those word pictures about life as dust, as grass, and then think about how does God want to teach me to number my days.